with that, the 2025 season comes to an end.
Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to the Family Biz Show.
That's how it kind of took off for me. It was just one day really realizing I'm never going to be able to run this business the way my dad did, hands-on everything myself. I have to change.
How to set ourselves up to have successful conversations and navigate conflict. And that, I think, is really why we've been able to work together for so long. Obviously, our personal relationship helps.
Each of your people, each of your employees need to be very crystal clear on what they're supposed to be doing day in and day out to drive your company forward for it to be successful. And it starts with accountability and building that culture as well. So you can properly succession plan your business and step out of your business.
You can't stay in a stable position the rest of your life. You got to look forward to what's going on in the future. So you got to give him a little bit of rope and let him go out and do what he wants to do. And if he hangs himself, he hangs himself.
We've only learned to understand that a couple years ago. So getting to this point was not a straight line. It was a rocky, bumpy road.
There has to come a point in every business when we go from making decisions about the family and decisions as owners to decisions about the company.
It's not to say that you shouldn't have conversations about the business outside of the office, so to speak, but you gotta know that the disagreements, the discord, the conversations you're having, they're about a business.
And as I sat there and I struggled and I struggled and I struggled, and I was like, what do I go through a layoff? Do I can shave expenses off? I always say this, you're not going to cost cut your way to prosperity.
You can't just think about the business, the philanthropy, or the investment portfolio and not talk about the rest of what the family has to do in order to stay together, to stay united, to stay happy, motivated, and achieve its purpose. And
how do you want to manage that capital? How do you want to protect it from creditors? How do you want to think about, are you looking to pass it on to your family, and or you want to pass it on to your college or the local community hospital? What do you want to do with that capital?
They don't start building a leadership team, if they don't start to put that together and they're still kind of holding on to all of the positions and all of the things, it just gets harder and harder to do that. Get to $100 million, you better be surrounding yourself by people that are willing to step up, you trust, they can make decisions without you. If you're making all the decisions, you'll become the bottleneck. If you own a business, you have a 401k for your employees, you probably run a request for proposal every few years to see if that 401k is doing okay. It's probably not a bad idea to run an RFP for your group of advisors and to network and say who else is out there.
Unless you're willing to work on yourself, how can you have a great impact with your spouse or your children? When it needs to start with all the wealth that money can't buy. It needs to start with the relationships, and do you have a good life and the social aspects of things? Because if you're not happy and gracious and gratitude, full of gratitude without money, then when you do have a great business or lots of real estate or investments, what's it matter?
What we've done is created what I call the Family Business Flywheel. The flywheel has to keep turning, growing the company, managing the wealth, keeping the complexity down, and making sure that the family stays sitting at the same Thanksgiving dinner table together. And if you don't balance all three of those things, it's going to fall apart.
Trust, clarity,
Tension generation,
family,